Beautiful sunny day, and here we go. We're off again, and we are on our way where?
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis again. This time we're not going to take the train. We are going to drive. Tried to get the train set up and ran into a problem with the website, and then found out that they've got some restricted service. So this time we found a good hotel with parking, and we're going to take the vehicle up and have an adventure. And what are we going to do there?
Walk around.
Walk around, and maybe we'll catch some sights downtown to share with you from downtown Minneapolis. It's kind of a fun place, and we'll be there during the busy work week. And again, another concert, and this time we're going to see AC/DC. We're going to head out down the road and see what we can find on the way. So with that,
we'll bring you along.
So let's get started. Well, about 2.5 hours on the road. We've gone about, 160, 170 miles. It's been a beautiful day for driving. Just slightly overcast, so you don't need the sunglasses. You're not fighting that. Traffic's not too bad. One little stretch of construction. It's a lot faster than taking the train because we're almost there. What are we, an hour away? We are here at a wayside we have stopped at several times, headed out west in our travels to the northern part of the West. And we've even had lunch over there different times. Got our lunch out, and this is one of our typical Wisconsin waysides, very well maintained, and they're very well maintained in Minnesota too, I might add. These are really nice. So
happy they're where they're at.
Yep. So we are going to pull out, and our next stop will be the hotel. We made it.
We did.
We are in the Hyatt Regency Hotel in downtown Minneapolis, maybe 3-4 blocks from the US Bank Stadium.
Yes.
Perfect location. Parking was easy to get to. A lot of parking, a little tight for an SUV, but we got it put in there, and it's going to sit till we leave again. Be doing some walking in downtown Minneapolis. We had a very pleasant drive, and I have to say, prior experience in Minneapolis, once you get into the city, the driving is pretty easy.
As long as you know your one ways.
Yeah, as long as you can,
Whoa.
as long as you can read the words one way, you're all set. So anyway, this is a great hotel. Beautiful lobby when you come in. The staff was very helpful.
Yep.
Nice dining area for breakfast in the morning, and a nice gathering area on the other end of the downstairs.
Cool.
So
yeah, it's very comfortable.
big long hallways.
Nice living room area.
Yeah,
here.
we got a. It's beautiful. It's a suite room.
It is.
Yeah,
yes, it's sweet.
Yeah.
It's W-E-E-T. Yes.
Yeah. Looks too like there's a really nice exercise area with lots of machines and weights if you want to keep up with that, and a really nice pool area if you want to catch a swim a little bit later. I think we're going to enjoy our stay here. You do have USB and HDMI connections on the 2 TVs in here, so if you want to watch something on the computer, you can do that. If you want to watch YouTube or something, there you go. Well, we had a great night in the hotel, pretty decent place, and now we are going to hit the Skyway, downtown Minneapolis, accessible through the Skyway. Just all kinds of access to things. So here we go. You can take lefts, you can take rights, and we'll be able to take this tonight right over to the stadium for the concert. So our adventure begins. Lots of great views of the city. You can see a lot of the buildings and attractions. You can see a lot of the other Skyway walks, and the people are on it. It's very, very busy. A lot of foot traffic on there, businesses and tourists. And there's the local transit coming into the station nearby near the public office building. You can jump down and grab that if you'd like. This is the infamous music wall.
Yes.
On the corner of 10th and Marquette Avenue in downtown Minneapolis. Okay, so you're recording this, so I can take this home and try to play it on the guitar, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
We are now headed down Nicolay Avenue to the Bob Dylan wall. Several block walk, we'll see what we find. We have arrived at the Bob Dylan mural The times, they are changing. Corner of South 5th Street and Hennepin. Right across from the Lumber Exchange building. Another classic old historic building. After a short walk on the surface streets, we arrived at our primary destination, and that's the Mill City Museum with all the history of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Entry into a beautiful lobby. There was a tour group there at the time. Excellent plaques that describe the history and all of the different things to view when you get in there. Old rail cars when you first walk in. A rundown of the history of the building itself and how it finally ended up, leading to a theater with an excellent 19-minute film presentation on the complete history of Minneapolis. Well narrated, well done, very entertaining. There was a tremendous amount of information to digest about the history of Minneapolis and the history of the milling industry. It was a milling industry giant in the Midwest with access to a lot of wheat coming in, rail system, water transport, lots of people giving this thing a look. You could spend hours reading through the displays and looking at the artifacts that were there. Very impressive. Talked about the history of commercial milling and things like Betty Crocker, history of that and its importance to the milling industry. Many things, a baking lab. There was a class going on in there at the time. Lots of stuff for the kids. Here's a water lab with scheduled sessions where you can go in and take a look at how water power was used. Other displays that talk about how the milling process worked in the old factory. That's long since gone, but the highlight was the flour tower. You take a walk inside of the area where you gather to take one of the scheduled trips up into the tower. That shows you the different facets of the mill when it was in operation. So we waited till the group gathered and they were ready to head on up in a large elevator where we all got in. It was set up with essentially bleacher seating. That's the door to the elevator. We weren't allowed to take pictures in there, but it's quite impressive. You get inside, you take a ride upstairs, see all the different displays that they have, the animated things, and then you can start walking around into the tower area. Take a walk up the stairs. They do have an elevator. They were having a problem in the elevator that day. There was another service elevator that you could take, but we took a walk up the stairs because a very nice set of stairs takes you to the first observation deck. Look at some of the old building. They were doing some work up there. Great observation decks. This one's enclosed. You can take a look at the river, the bridges down there, take a look at some of the ruins. A lot of great plaques again describing everything you're looking at. There's a good look at part of the ruins from when the building was burned down and exploded. There's a scene of the river again, the old railroad bridge that curved through that's now for auto traffic. Some more look at the ruins. When you're done, you take an elevator back down and you can go to the souvenir store. A lot of great stuff in there. We picked a couple little things up. We always like to get a magnet when we go somewhere. Very helpful staff, a lot of great people to talk with. And then we took a walk back to the hotel on the surface streets. It's not very far from the museum. You're right downtown, past the U.S. Bank Stadium where we'll be attending the concert. And here we are walking to the concert later in that day, and there's a separate video on the concert itself. If you want to watch that, we saw AC/DC live in Minneapolis that evening. The walkways, again, are an excellent way to get to the U.S. Bank Stadium regardless of what you're going to see at the stadium that day. And here we are, nestled in at the stadium, ready for the concert to begin. Oh, we made it back in one piece.
We did.
Back here on our deck in the back of the house. But it was a fun trip.
Very fun, very fun.
So what was the favorite part of your tour around Minneapolis that morning?
Oh, I just like getting out and walking in the streets and just seeing the different stores and people, and that was very interesting. But I have to admit, the Mill City Museum.
Yep, that was a big highlight. But it was fun finding those two little gems, the music wall and doing a little more walking and finding the Bob Dylan wall.
Yep.
That was pretty interesting. And it was interesting, the Skyway, and then we had a conversation, one of the local people, when we went to one of the stores. Yeah. And then as we walked, we noticed as we got out of the Skyway, skywalks, which were fabulous.
They were. It was very nice. Yes.
You get down on the street level, and as someone mentioned to us, a lot of the stores are empty.
Yeah.
At street level, it's getting kind of vacant down there in spots, but the skywalk, busy with traffic, stores.
A lot of businesses too, as far as companies and
That's
employees.
Right. And if you want to grab a cup of coffee or a snack, there are plenty of opportunities for that.
They cater to those individuals. Yep.
So we've been to Minneapolis a couple times. Would you go back?
Oh, I definitely would. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think we missed?
Well, there's something that's on my list.
And what's that?
Paisley Park.
Ah, Paisley Park, and yeah.
That's outside of Minneapolis.
Outside of Minneapolis, and the Prince. Yeah, outside of it. In Minneapolis itself, we've been there before, seen the Mary Tyler Moore statue.
We did.
Yeah,
Yes.
in different parts. So, yeah, we've been to a lot of different cities in the Midwest, and I spent a lot of time in Milwaukee. Of course, we both lived in that area. I lived in Milwaukee. And never really knew Minneapolis, but it was a fun trip.
Yep. And it's fun getting to know it more and more each time. We add a little more area to it and a little more knowledge, and it's very enjoyable. It's a nice and I commented on how friendly everyone was and helpful, because there was at a point in the skywalk where you and I were a little twisted around, and this very nice young man stopped and he said, "Are you lost?" And we need something, and he was very helpful and told us what direction to go in, and we did, and it worked out great.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yep, I'm not ready to go back immediately, but sometime it'd be fun to go back, maybe in the fall or again in the spring.
If the Rolling Stones ever play there.
Oh boy,
that'd be cool.
That would be cool. Yep. So, yeah,
Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper.
Yeah. List, my list anyway. Yours not so much.
Yeah, but I want to see him again. That would be 3 times for me. But I saw him in his prime.
Yes.
But we've seen Rammstein there, and we've seen Metallica, and now AC/DC. So it's a great place to go.
And we realized this time we hadn't compared our tickets and where we sat, but we were only a couple of seats away from where we had sat when we watched Rammstein.
That's right. So
kind of funny, but we like that area. And being old people, we're far enough back, and we still can see what's going on and hear well.
And of course, we go to all the gray hair concerts.
Yeah.
So
getting to be.
Well, I think it was a great tour, and I would recommend, if you get a chance, you live in the Midwest or you're passing through, make a stop in Minneapolis. There's a lot of interesting things to see. And that Mill City Museum really tells the story of Minneapolis.
I think there's other museums, and there's an art museum that I would like to get to, too. That's more downtown that I didn't research too much this time. But
right, so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until our next trip, I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you enjoyed seeing some of the sights in Minneapolis and want to see some of our future travels, like our video, and please subscribe to our channel so you're always notified when we have videos coming up in the future. So,
there's going to be travel.
There's going to be travel coming up.
Big time.
Right. So with that, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.